Why finish one project when you can start another?
Well, good morning, guys. Long time no see. I've been super busy this year doing uninteresting stuff that I haven't filmed, and while today is no exception to the uninteresting part, I'm going to film it. I'm also going to upset a lot of you that have been waiting for an update on this truck. It's been probably about a year since I've worked on it, and I'm to a point now where I need to start spending some money on it. I need to have a driveline made. I need to buy a fuel system. I need to figure out and purchase a power brake system. I need an intercooler for the turbo. I need a lot of stuff that requires me opening my wallet, and the problem is when I do that right now, there's nothing in it. So I'm going to start a new project. A few years ago, I found this early 50s Chevy on Facebook Marketplace. It was 15 minutes from my house, and it was an absolute steal. My wife and I flew down there with what cash I had to hold on to it for a night, and we picked it up the next day. I got it running and driving, drove it to a few shows, drove it to a friend's wedding, and was kind of planning to just drive it around the way it was for a while. And shortly after buying it, I found this 1989 S-10. It's got a 2.8 liter V6 in it. It's only got 110,000 miles on it, and it's a standard cab long bed, which is a perfect candidate for a chassis swap under that Chevy. I kind of bought this with the intention of accumulating parts, and then once I had them all, I'd get started on the chassis swap. My son turns 13 in a couple weeks, and he's shown interest in helping me with the project, which I can't ask for more. I got to seize that opportunity. We'll start doing a chassis swap. All right, well, it's day two. The teardown is going to continue. I'm going to pull the hood, the driver's side door, and then I'm going to start disconnecting things from the firewall, probably the heater hoses, the radiator, and just start getting the cab and front clip ready to pull off of here. Then I want to roll this chassis over and pressure wash the frame. It's in really good condition, so well, I didn't want to have to do it, but I may have to pull this front clip in order to get to whatever is holding up this bulkhead. I was hoping to remove the front clip along with the cab in one shot. Might just be a bunch of glue holding this thing on. Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
It's just a bunch of waterproofing glue holding that thing together. All right, I'm going to pull this bolt out of the steering shaft to disconnect the steering. There's a little cotter pin for the shift linkage. That should disconnect the mechanical stuff. I'll then go into the cab and disconnect this brake booster. It bolts in from the inside of the firewall. And then I'll start chasing down, well, I got the heater hoses, but I'll start chasing down wiring, trying to free everything up. So I'm hoping I can just lift this thing straight off, leave the engine, leave the wiring harness intact, and go from there. My friend who sold me this lift told me when I bought it from him, you know, you're really not going to use it as much as you think. I use it all the time. If you are into working on your own stuff and you have the room, it'll be one of the best purchases you can make. I should probably just cut all this wiring harness and splice it back later if I need it, but why not try and save it? Oh, I think there's another ground wire on the bumper. Oh, it's a marker light. All right, there's 4 nuts on studs that hold the brake booster to the firewall from the inside. Those are removed, and I've disconnected the rod that connects the brake pedal to the booster. So I'm hoping I can slide this forward and kind of leave the brake system intact before I pull the body. A whole bunch of glue. Now there's probably no way I'm going to be able to lift the body up and clear this without removing at least this fender and this inner fender. There's a whole bunch of miscellaneous wires that I'm just going to have to kind of work through. I wonder if I can just take this inner fender liner out and instead of the whole thing. Not much left on those brake pads. We'll probably update these rotors anyway. I want to put drop spindles on it, maybe even new calipers. But yeah, those those pads are hammered. So are the rotors. All right, well, that should make things easier. All right, well, I have disconnected the speedometer cable, the parking brake cable, a ground strap that I found, and I think all that's left to do is to pull the 6 cab mount bolts, reposition the truck on the lift so that I can just lift this cab up with the 2-post, and I should be pretty much ready to go. There's always something though. There's always something that is still attached. Ah, the throttle cable. I just found the throttle cable. Let's deal with that really quick. Okay, well, here goes something. The engine fan is not going to clear the radiator. Guys, is it me or is that engine fan on backwards? That does not look right. I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, take 2. There's another throttle cable. All right, I think that one was actually the throttle cable. The other one I disconnected was probably the kick down for the transmission, which maybe didn't need to get disconnected, but take 3. Positive battery terminal is attached to the inner fender. Ouch! Yeah, Lee, that hurt. Ow. I don't know what take we're on. 5, 4, 5. I think we're looking good. I think we're looking good. The hose to the windshield washer. Okay, take 6. Now it looks like the wire's going to the wiper motor. We can just unplug that. All right, here we go. Take 7. I've only been working on this for about 3 hours today and only spent, I don't know, 2 yesterday. This easily could have been a 1-day deal. Now what? I think what I'd like to do is cover up the carburetor, the distributor. I got to put 1 spark plug back in, and then maybe wheel this over to the house where I can pressure wash it, soak her down with some degreaser, and see what falls off. I need to pull that front bumper off for sure. All right, I'll let that soak in a few minutes and then we'll hit her with the pressure washer. All right, looking just like new. I'm gonna go park this over by the shop and pull the cab off of the lift so that I can get that in there. Now, the last time I moved this truck from the shop over to the garage here, the ignition switch fell apart. All the wires came off the back and whatnot, so I just pushed it into the garage here. I'm gonna roll it out as far as I can and then I'll push it into the shop with my tractor. So I think this thing was probably restored in the 80s, maybe early 90s. The speedometer is in my shop. It's been rebuilt. It's in totally awesome condition. Somebody put these really dumb bucket seats in it. They're power seats, you can't move them. Dumb steering wheel, it's got a cool Hurst shifter, 4-speed on the floor, dumb gas pedal. I think I'm gonna take this out and put a bench seat in it. Not a factory bench. I'd like to get a headliner. And the bed is all plywood, and it looks like a lot of the cross members have been cut out, so not a big deal. I'm gonna need to redo all that anyway. It did come with an oak bed kit, which is in bad shape, but I've got all the wood and I have all of the strips that go between the wood sitting over on the other side of my trailer there. So we'll see how much of that we can use, but yeah, it's not a bad looking little rig. I'm not gonna paint it. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is and make it a nice driver. these shackles are absolutely shot. There's grease fittings, but it doesn't look like anybody knew that. This one here, look at how ovaled that is. I don't know what is keeping the top as well. I think this bolt is keeping this from falling apart completely. Yeah, that's super sketchy. Won't be driving that anymore. And then you can see under here, looks like there was a cross member cut out. There's probably some more that I can't see until we get this bed off of here. That will make it easier to get the bed off of here, but anyways, some nice wiring. Little transmission leak. Won't be a problem anymore. So yeah, let's start figuring out how to get this bed cut loose. You know, now that I'm looking at this, I think that these holes were all cut just so that they could get a wrench on the top side. Because we got the same thing up here. I don't know. I don't know what this bed's supposed to look like, so I'll have to do some Googling. Might be able to see a little bit better what's going on if I got this plywood out of here. Well, it looks like there's only 4 bolts, bolt on each corner, and then there's one on each side tied to the running board that I want to make sure I don't rip off. Oh my gosh. Whew, it's heavy. Well, this side has a bolt but no nut, so that makes that easy. Okay, I think I've got the bed freed up. There was a brace on each rear part of the fender, and there was 4 bolts on each front part of the fender tying it into the running boards, and then the bolts in each corner. Seems to be free. I am going to bring the tractor in and rig it up so that I can pick it, and I will probably set it out on the chassis, just for now. Mint. All right, well, that was relatively painless, but the truck was practically teeter-tottering on the front arms of the lift with the bed on, so I'm sure if I tried to pick it up now, it'd probably nosedive. So I'm gonna get this repositioned, bring the truck back a bit so that it's balanced on the hoist, and start hacking away at cab mounts and the bolts for the running boards. They're all bent over and rusted, and a lot of what I just took off broke as I was trying to loosen them. So even soaking them with WD-40. I'll get this thing balanced out and back in the air. Oh, it's in gear. All right, guys, I believe I have everything disconnected. Clutch, brake pedal, throttle cable. I believe I've got all the wiring disconnected. Fuel lines. The only thing I think is left is the steering column, which is not a simple thing to do. Luckily, I have a brand new Milwaukee steering column tool I'm going to employ right now. And with that, I should be able to lift this body off of here. Should. We'll see how many takes it takes. Now my hope is to lift the cab off with the front clip in one piece like I did this other truck. Because I didn't take the running boards off, I can't get the rear arms under it yet. So I'm gonna raise the front up and then I'll swing these over under the cab. And hopefully it just comes up. Beauty. What a mess. But we've got the chassis out. I'll pull the front bumper and brackets off. I don't think I need those brackets, but I'll take them off. And then I'm going to probably grind those rivets on these running board mounts off so that I can possibly reuse those. Got to do a little bathroom remodel work at my neighbor's house real quick to pay the bills, and then I will come back to this. All right, guys, well, it has been a couple of days. We had some rain, so I've wrapped up the engine here. I have this wheel that I bought for my 63 Nova several years ago that I built, and it didn't fit. I've got a pair of these wheels. This is the style I want to go with, but these are 18s and those are going to be too small. I'm going to do some cleanup here in the shop and get ready to start prepping the S-10 chassis to receive this cab. I have boxes with parts in them. I have a whiteboard to make a list of what I need to do on. So that'll wrap up this video. Tune in next week. I will be back. We will be working on these things. We will be making progress. I promise. I know it's been a long time since I've made any videos. I want to have this thing running for this season's car show circuit. So until next week, stick around. We'll see you soon.